Yes, and we are live here on this Sunday now afternoon because it is noon time.
It's time for a nooner.
Oh boy.
Starting on a
Man.
right
A
foot.
nooner radio show. Y'all get your minds out of the gutter.
This used to be a family show,
still
but it is now
is.
gone south.
Okay, so for those really watching closely, my father's face when he first started the show, and then once he hears himself as the fire master, it puts a smile on his face, and his ego gets boosted 10 times.
Well, that's
I
the
know,
great
that's why.
Ron Taylor.
Yes,
And
Ron
he
Taylor,
does a
thank you.
wonderful job with our intros and stuff. So thank you for joining us today on the Wheels of Justice. And we're here every Sunday at noon. And we try to have a lighthearted show, but sometimes it gets unlighthearted. And I am your host, Big Wheels Bo Carver, along with my co-host, as always.
Why do you pause before you announce
Can't
me?
remember your name.
He's trying to figure out who he
He
married.
can't call me Purple Haze because my hair's not purple anymore.
Well, the problem is if I go through all the names that you've been in your past, it's going to eat up the whole hour show.
And then you don't.
Oh,
hey, some of those are
God.
names I don't want out there. So those are my secret names.
I was doing some what do you call it, scanning for some of her medical stuff,
Oh,
and I'm going like, who are these people?
because they're in different names.
That's me. Oh, okay. Well, it was like about 10 different names.
I've only been married twice, but I've changed my name. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times. Yeah.
There you go.
You could call her Convict 382.
There you go. Please make welcome Barbara Ann Purple Haze.
Yes. Thank you.
She's
Good
in the
night.
house.
Good afternoon.
And the Purple Haze part is that's her wrestling name.
Okay, you got to change that though, right?
No,
No,
why?
Why would you
'Cause
purple
there's
haze for
nothing
purple hearts?
purple about you anymore.
Well, no.
I still wear my
It's her aura.
yeah.
And her name is Hayes.
My last name, my maiden name is Hayes, and I'm
Keep
Hayes
the
Carver.
haze, light blue haze. That does not work at all. Aqua.
Purple haze for
purple
purple
haze is the only
hearts.
thing that sounds.
And my hair is green right now, because in the military, you
And
see green.
Graham's
So.
too young to know what Purple Haze really even means.
Thank
or
God.
what it's all about.
Thank goodness.
And so
Isn't purple haze a strain of weed?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Sure,
That's it.
let's leave
Let's
it
go
at
for
a
that.
it
Let's
was
go
a
for that.
It was a breakfast cereal.
breakfast.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll go for that.
And we are going to talk about the Pride and Glory Professional Wrestling, which we are both a part of right this second. It is happening on July the 27th. It's going to be an awesome, awesome show. 6 professional wrestling matches going on, and it's going to be in Denton, Texas at the, what did we call it?
Driven a lead. It's at 2686 Old Alton Road, Denton, Texas, 76210. It's over off of Teasley by Old Geyer. And it's going to be Saturday, July 27th. Meet and greet starts at 6. The bell time is at 7. And it's for Pride and Glory Wrestling. You can go to get tickets at eventbrite.com. That's eventbrite.com. And I will put that on our Facebook. Or you can contact Ashton Jacobs or Mark Roy.
And it's to raise funds for the Denton Marine Corps League. 1300. And this is a great, great organization, the Pride and Glory Professional Wrestling. That's what they do, is to give back or help raise money for these organizations. And I'm going to tell you right now, the matches are second to none. If you think you've seen something great, then you need to come out and witness this July 27th.
There will be female wrestlers as well.
And yours truly, Biggles Bo Carver,
Yours truly. Wow.
and
like
Purple Haze will be doing a duo MC that night.
Yes, sir.
So if you don't think the matches are going to be great, you might
gonna
want to
have our
see the
own match.
big match between the two MCs in the ring. That could get bloody. So anyway, I want to tell you about that. We'll keep you posted on that on July 27th. Please attend that and enjoy that show. We'll be having a great time. We did the last time. It was at the same location on May 4th, and it was fantastic. So you want to do that again.
family friendly. You can bring your kids. My grandbabies will be there. It's not going to be vulgar. There's not going to be
Well,
cuss
at
words.
least among the wrestlers. I don't know about the MCs.
Okay, Father, just keep in mind that you can't raise your voice,
All right, here we go.
or you can't.
Don't push my buttons, and we will be good.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
well, last time you were pretty passive. You were like, "Well, there's a wrestler. Let's get into it," and then you'd ring the bell. Sometimes you wouldn't ring the bell because you didn't know how to.
I
at the
didn't know
very
how to do
beginning.
that either.
But
But I'm learning.
the point being is you're pretty passive. You need to stay passive because she can only protect you
I
from
know.
so
Well,
many hailstorms.
She won't be protecting me that night because I think she's going to be announcing the heels and I'm going to be announcing the good people.
The faces, yeah.
So anyway, who was just speaking
Lord.
is
Good
Graham
luck.
Knox Mirabeau Carver. He's the one and only, we think, and we're hoping.
If anybody else knocks on the door, I'm not opening it.
Yes, especially if they look like me, I'm running.
So plenty of people ask like where my negative attitude comes from, and it's from you.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
all derives from you. So you can blame my beautiful father for that.
Well, I'm trying to get you prepared for the real world
Yeah,
and get
that's
you out
true.
of your feelings and more
Yeah,
into reality.
yeah, get you away from the snowflake. Yeah.
There you go.
He taught me, the first thing he taught me is how to take a joke, and then
Literally.
And then did jokes on you all day long.
yeah, and then he also
We became a punching bag.
he said remember that you're gonna have to realize that some people are just kidding around with you, or there are some situations where you are the joke, and that's gonna be even worse.
So he taught you to laugh at yourself.
More like he taught other people to laugh at me.
No, your dad's always said,
Oh,
if you
boy.
can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh
That's
at?
That's
right.
true.
You got to do that. And thank you, Graham Knox Mirabeau Carver, for being our co-host today, and our special guest. What an honor! Now I know this young man.
Young man.
Well,
You're the same age as
I
me,
have to
so we
say
got to
that.
go there.
I have to say that because when I say how long I've known you, I want to preface it by saying young man.
Yeah, but I'm looking at I mean, I didn't expect cameras. That's the first thing. Because no, I didn't, because let's face it, I'm not aging well.
Oh, you are.
No,
All
you
men age
look
well.
easily mid-20s. Come on.
Midway, I'm getting sympathy cards from the Elephant Man.
Well, I judge a man and his looks about.
You look the same.
Oh well, thank you, but
That
Is
doesn't mean
that a compliment?
he looks the same. Just leave
Just
it at
leave it
that.
at
He
that.
hasn't
There
changed,
you
you
go.
know.
so our guest today, it is an honor, and this is the best-selling author, Michael Edwin Q.
Yay, we'll give you the clap.
And he is so fantastic, and we're going to get into his accomplishments and his writings and what he's done. I've known him through the years as a musician and also a fantastic musician, and now even more so a fantastic author. It's going to be a fun day today. We appreciate you being here today, Michael.
Thank you.
Also, I want to bring up something before we get into that.
Ooh, don't bring that one up again.
Well,
This
I'll
never
stray
goes
away
good.
from that.
Okay, good.
We kind of hit
Yeah.
the.
We paid our dues for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we paid our dues this morning already before we came on the show. But
Ignorance is bliss.
Let me just say something right now. People,
Mm-hmm.
do not leave your children in the freaking car. Okay? There's been 2 deaths over the last few. Person went to work and the child was in there for over 5 hours.
How can you forget about your kid in the friggin' car? Can you forget
It's
about
not
my dog?
forgetful. It's being a narcissist and being selfish.
I'm not sure
Has
what it
nothing to
is.
do with
It's
memory.
complete stupidity. And you know what? It really sickens me because I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm a young man with an old heart, but I have the heart to understand that you don't do something so moronic.
You know, the stupidest thing they say is put your cell phone back there because you're not going to forget your cell phone, but so you'll go in your back seat to get your cell phone.
Well,
And
The
you'll
fact
remember
that
your
the
kids
fact that
back
you
there?
have to bring that to the table
Is the
shows
stupidest
how
thing
much
I've
of
ever
an
heard.
idiots that so many people can be. There's just no capacity for intelligence
They even say
at
put
all.
your shoes back there because you got to put your shoes on to go to work.
What
so
about your
you-
kid? What about the
That's
child?
what I'm saying. That's the
Like,
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
you,
We
you-
can see the priority list there,
Yeah.
right?
You know,
Don't
the average
have
the
kids
average
if that's
person.
it,
I think it's the average person checks their phone like 108 to 150 times a day, right? And that's your average
Well, you
like
see it in
25-year-old
Walmart.
male.
They're busy looking over their phones and at their kids.
Yeah, and then some
That's
people
just-
never check on their kids. Obviously,
I know.
I mean,
I've
it's
seen
just
that.
and
It's
keep in mind, it
ridiculous.
is if you see a child in danger in a car, it is legal,
Or a dog.
or a dog as well.
It is legal to break the window and
And
get
it's
them out.
illegal. It's
And I will. By God, I will.
it is very much illegal to get them out of the car and into safety.
Well, there's been a couple deaths, but there's been several that haven't died. That what you're just saying, that people have knocked out the windows and called the authorities.
That is insane.
And I don't know, but
Makes no sense.
I think that should be the hardest punishment a person can receive when you leave your child in the vehicle. That just blows my mind. There's a lot of things going on in our world and in our society that doesn't make sense to me, but that one may be on the top of the list.
No, see, because someone like that, they're not. See, many murders are committed out of rage and out of hatred, but that's just moral ignorance, and that doesn't deserve empathy at all.
Correct.
You should not be sympathetic to someone like that, someone who can go out of their way to ignore a child that they brought into the world in the first place.
Well, and also, it's sort of an escape route to where, oh, I left my child in the car. But instead of going out and chopping its head off, that
did happen, yeah.
To where you could show murder, like, okay, you murdered this child. This way you can go, oh, dear Lord, I forgot to get my child out of the car. So, it's not going to constitute probably as a first degree murder.
It needs to.
Because it's going to be like, oh, they just forgot.
Well,
so it's going to be like,
the thing is,
what, child manslaughter?
You can't count it as first degree murder because you can't prove that it was planned out.
Endangerment to a child.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, some people get away with it just because the judge will say, well, they're suffering enough.
Yeah, well,
they've suffered enough, so let's let them go. Let's let them go.
But that's what I'm talking about. What you're doing is giving that person a way to commit a murder without it being considered
that happened
a
last
murder.
year. A guy, he wanted the child gone, and they found it on his internet, how he was searching it on the internet, how to leave a child in the car, the time they needed, blah, blah, blah. And so when they found the child in the car and they searched the thing, they found out he had planned that premeditated murder.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
And so when you don't really, well, everybody that knows me knows I believe in the death penalty. So I think when you do something stupid like that, I don't think you need to be breathing anymore. That's how I feel about it, about that situation.
Honestly, those are some of the people that I'd say you just let them.
No,
rot.
you let them go to prison because prisoners will take care of them.
Those are
yeah.
some people that you just have to.
You need a license to get a gun. You need a license to
go
get married.
Fishing.
You get a license to go fishing,
Yeah.
and you need a license to go get a dog. But anybody can have a kid.
No license for that. No training. There's nothing that you have to do to have a child, and so therefore we get into positions. But I understand maybe not having the greatest skills on raising a child, things like that. I mean, I think that's something that we should implement to help people along the way. But there's no excuse for leaving your child in the car, and when you do that, I think, and if without the most severest penalty, it's going to continue until we realize that should be an ultimate punishment when that happens, because it's not a easy death.
No, it's not.
When you have a child, I don't care if it's wanted, unwanted, accident, on purpose. When you have a kid, no matter your age, if you choose to keep it instead of adopt it out, whatever means you see necessary to rid yourself of the child, and you keep it, that responsibility is now on you and no one else.
Correct.
You are now the single bear holder or one of two to that child, and you are responsible for every mistake you make there on out. There's no one else you can blame for leaving your own kid in what was probably like what you said last couple days, probably like a 90-something degree
Correct.
car up to
Inferno,
of
an
100,
infernal.
and some of them can get up to 150 after a certain while. It sounds gruesome. You're literally boiling a kid. Like there's just
You do.
nothing.
From
There's
the
nothing more to
inside,
say.
yes. It's
You are.
a kid, a dog, anything. It's
It'd be
awful.
just as bad as literally cooking them. It's not okay. It's not. There's no way to hide the fact that that's
well, folks,
a terrible
I'm glad
thing
you're coming
that a
out
person
of
can
church
do.
and listening to us today.
Yeah.
Talking about cooking your
You
children.
might need to turn around and go back in
to the
again.
car.
The church
back.
is probably the better
Oh,
place to be today.
I forgot.
Yeah, I left my kid. But I remember when Graham was. Of course, Graham's too old now to leave in the car, so I don't have to worry about that. But I remember when he was younger, and I wouldn't even. He was always the first priority, whether it's being buckled up
You have to
properly
throw
in the
your shoes
seat,
back there to find it.
making sure. I mean, I wouldn't even leave him in there if I stopped at a convenience store to go to grab a water or anything. I mean, I'd get him out, even though it was a pain in the butt. It's still you cannot do that, and even though I say you can't do that, I know it's still going to happen. I know people are going to do that.
But there is an obvious difference between leaving your kid in the car for 5 minutes and 5 hours. It's a whole other moral quandary.
But when you start thinking that way,
that's the problem.
Then you're going to open the door to, it's 6 minutes.
Yeah,
no,
it's
10 and now it's 10 and now it's 20. I agree.
Yeah.
But there is a difference between someone, if you know you're making a quick stop, that's up to you. Again, you are the parent.
I say give the kid $5 and let him go in and get it.
It's actually against the law, period, whether you go in for 5 seconds or 5 hours. So just technically leaving a kid in a car is against the law.
On a personal level, I can understand leaving them for 5 minutes, but past that,
no,
I don't.
It's against the law, though.
It's against
and
the law.
You leave them in there for 5 minutes, and then you go in the store. And
you get caught up. I
get caught up in
that,
something.
yeah.
You have a heart attack.
Right. Well, I know for a fact that our dear brother and our dear wonderful attorney that we love dearly, that occasionally visits our show, who used to be our co-host,
Melvin
Thathia, makeitmelvin.com, is working with a case right now.
And
where a gentleman who was upstanding, Christian man, all the right tools of his social things and skills, upstanding and everything, left his child or 2 children, I can't remember if it was 2 or 1, went into the convenience store.
No, he went to get pizza, pick up his
inside
pizza.
the pizza place. And because he was parked supposedly in like a wrong spot at the pizza place, the pizza manager called authorities. And when they came out and saw those 2 kids in the car, he's now under a lot of big trouble. When he was right there, you could even see the kids.
And he was just waiting on pizza.
Just waiting to pick up the pizza. And yet when they pulled up, he's got a lot of problems right now. I'm not leaving those kids when he can even see them.
I'm not saying you're a decent person if you do it. I'm not saying it's morally acceptable. Nothing along those lines is okay. And I understand and I agree that it should be completely illegal to basically abandon your child for an ungiven amount of time. I'm just saying that convenience, I do understand that convenience can be important to a lot of people. And I understand I wouldn't call it reasoning, but I understand why they would do that to a certain point. Like waiting on pizza and having a direct view of the child is one thing, and then leaving them for 5 hours is another.
Well,
you have to find the distinction, which is the problem. It's a gray area there.
Well, the gray area is if a police officer finds it, you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't care if it's 2 minutes or 1 minute. If you're outside that vehicle and your child is in the car, you're done, and he's got a lot of hell to deal with. Yeah.
How long should you be able, for convenience sake, park in a handicapped space?
I agree.
That's a good question.
It's the same thing. How long? I'm only going to be in 1 minute.
0 seconds.
0 seconds.
Yeah.
How long do you keep your kid in the car?
0
0
seconds.
There
seconds.
you go.
There you
Good.
go.
Thank you.
That's fair.
Michael Edwin Q, our guest today.
Facebook is agreeing with you 100%. And real quick, I want to say, Wesley Stewart, we want to wish you luck on your surgery.
Yes,
this week.
Wesley, we
You're
love
in our
you.
prayers. We love you and want to thank you for listening every week.
And thank you, Facebook, for tuning in. And you can join us every Sunday on the Facebook Live channel station at facebook.com/Bo Carver Show. And that's BOCARV, like in Victor ER Show. Facebook.com/Bo Carver Show. Share the word, have them tune in. And if you have friends that are not Facebook junkies, tell them to go to YouTube. Tell them to go to youtube.com/ then search Bo Carver Show, same spelling, BOCARV, like in Victor ER Show, youtube.com. And we've got people listening there, and we've got a lot listening on Facebook.
Well, we've even got Holland on, our mocha coffee lady.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought her name up. Karen Holla from Holland, and that's Holland, the country. And she's a sponsor of our show. Mocha coffee. It's the best coffee in the entire universe. Forget the world.
Holland. She's from Holland.
Yep, and we actually that's a coffee you drank this morning.
Yes.
It was for her mocha
Good,
coffee.
Good stuff.
And it is mokk-a.com. mokk-a.com. There's 5 different blends. You can get bean or ground. I promise you, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you contact me and I'll buy it from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So what do you got to lose? That's a money back guarantee from me. Forget about what Karen thinks about it because I believe in it that much. I promise you, it's so fantastic. So give it a shot. mokk-a.com. Mocha coffee.
So if people from Poland are called Poles, are people from Holland called holes?
Yeah. Hose.
Hose.
Hose and hose.
Sorry, Karen.
Oh, boy.
Sorry. No, it's all in fun. All in fun.
She's going to beat me up over that.
So Holland, to clarify, that's the Netherlands, correct?
Correct.
Because a lot of people, there's Holland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Dutch, and there's a lot of ways you can classify those regions, and a lot of people mistake because the Dutch area includes the Hollanders and the Belgians, correct?
Correct.
And then the Hollanders are just people from the Netherlands, and then the Belgians are obviously people from Belgium. So to clarify, she is from the Netherlands.
And that is your history lesson for
so
the
she's
day.
not a hoe.
Nice to know.
She's another hoe.
Yeah.
She's another hoe. Oh, but we're getting out of hand here. Karen, how'd you like that
She's
history
laughing.
lesson?
She said, okay, Hland.
Excellent.
Okay, Hland. I don't know what that means.
Highlander. No.
Well,
Hland is what she said.
oh, okay.
Hollander.
Oh, okay.
Hollander. Okay.
Well, we appreciate Karen Howa and we appreciate Graham Knox Mirabel Carver with that geographical history lesson.
Smart kid.
No, there's no history in that.
Geographical data. How about that?
If you remember it, it's history.
And thank you for joining us as always on Sunday at noon. Then today's guest is phenomenal guest. It's the best-selling author, Michael Edwin Q.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
And his wife, Constance, is here. She's in the room.
Right.
Or she loves to be called C.
No, don't say
Oh,
that.
no.
She hates that. She hates that.
No, she loves it.
We'll
spam
take
her
a
with
look.
C's. It'll make her very
It's kind of
happy.
like when you're in the courts and somebody says something and they say, distract that from the record or whatever the words they actually say. They've already heard it.
Constance is Constance.
Yeah. Yes.
Constantly constant.
There you go, right there.
I like that.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. As you can see, I married up.
Yeah, I get that same thing. So
Yeah, I know.
I'm used to that.
Let's
And
go
you-
past that.
And you did, and I
Yeah,
did. We
I know.
both admit to that.
Yeah.
So
If we got what we deserved, you don't
yeah,
want
boy.
to. You shut
Yeah.
the cameras off. Right?
Yeah, well, you see what I ended up front here in front of me. That's probably kind of what I'd be married to if it wasn't for Barbara Ann.
Oh,
so
I'm getting
sweet.
a cavity. It's so,
So
sweet,
sweet.
over here.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not going to hear that on the Pride and Glory
I
Professional
know.
Wrestling here on the 27th. I guarantee
Somebody
that.
give a doggy treat to her seeing eye dog.
So, Michael, what an honor to have
Thank
you on
you,
the
thank
show
you.
today. Now, I've known you a long time, and you have done some great things in your life. But this what you're doing as an author. Give us a little background about how you became an author in writing. Period. Just the start of what you did.
I wrote something when I was 12 years old, and my teacher actually took it and sold it.
Oh wow! Thank you, Teach.
sold it to the local newspaper, and I got paid for it. And
Okay.
and so I got kind of hooked. So I've been writing all my life. I always wrote stories, and the only thing was when I got into my teens, I discovered girls. And girls
I'm
don't want
still
the
trying to
story of
discover.
every guy.
I'm still going through that
Exactly.
phase, and they didn't like nerds at the time. At the time, a writer was a nerd. A musician was very cool.
Right.
So if you're going to get girls, so I spent most of my time doing music, and only did the writing.
And that's
in my
how
spare
we
time.
met.
Yeah, we met.
We met with doing music together, and we played music together. And then you went on to do a lot of things on your own. You also became, and I'm gonna bring this up, and you hope are okay with that. You became a booking agent. You actually,
I was
booked
an entertainment booking agent
Yes.
for about 20 years,
and you did a lot of different things, not only
and I
bands.
booked myself all the time.
And you booked yourself, and you booked my band to have. You
Yeah, I
booked
booked
us
your
on a lot
band,
of-
but I booked myself much more.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go. You're telling the truth now.
I'm
I got
telling
the
the truth.
100%
It was a
attention.
double pay every week. It was wonderful.
I know it was
yeah,
for you. You used to tell me that all the time.
Yeah, and I did that, and I got to a certain age. I just and I also wrote some songs, and I sold a few songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I sold a few songs to some fairly big names, not monster names, but fairly big names. And when I was playing mostly Italian restaurants at night.
Right.
Yeah, and then on the weekends I would record music and send it out and try and sell it. And one day, I had this little recording studio in my house, and I recorded a few songs and I played them back, and I'm listening to them. And I'm going, these songs are fabulous. These songs are great. They're so dated. The Monkees broke up 20 years ago. I have no chance of selling these songs. It's
Except to the Monkees.
to the
and
Monkees,
gone.
and they're gone. So I said, that's it. My days of writing
Well, we might
music
could
are
use
over.
those with our monkey business show. We might bring those suckers back.
That they sound dated. It's like saying, hey, I wrote a great song. It's called the Charleston.
Yeah, back in exactly 1939.
It doesn't work anymore. So I realized I had to, and then as I got a little older, I stopped doing the playing out by myself because it just got tiring, and
I understand.
so I decided to get back into the writing, and I did the big mistake, and I'm going to tell every up and coming writer, this is the best advice I ever got. Was I wrote a few books. I sent them out to publishers, and one publisher, an editor, got back with me. I can't remember his name, but it was wonderful. He said, you're talented. It's you understand, but you're not good. Because you're not good. You're not good yet. He says, you don't.
Were your feelings hurt?
Yeah, a little bit. But then again, don't get your feelings too hurt. Let's listen to what they got to say. Learn from it.
Right.
So he says, and the best advice he said, why don't you do this? Why don't you write short stories, send them to magazines, get your name out there, and not only get your name out there, but get your
experience.
Learn your craft.
Right.
Learn your craft. So I did that for 20 years.
Oh, wow. That's
and
fantastic.
I wound up writing for about 50 magazines.
There you go. How about that?
For over 20 years. So that was doing good. And then finally, also, I started writing because I love the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Everybody likes the Twilight Zone.
I love the Twilight Zone.
So I love the Twilight Zone. So I started writing short stories that were Twilight Zone-y, but they were Christian.
Right.
Oh,
right.
and this man, and I was selling all these stories, and finally, I couldn't sell these Christian Twilight Zone stories. And finally, I got in touch with an editor in California for the Nova Science Fiction magazine, and he loved it. And I wrote for him for 3 years. In fact, I dedicated the book to him. Is Wesley Kawato.
And you started doing some audio things with that, right?
But we didn't get to that yet.
Okay.
No, we didn't get to that yet. No, so I put the book out, but also I was still writing short stories, and then I in 2009 I had a story in Storyteller magazine, which is one of the top 100 magazines in the country, and every year they have people vote in what is your favorite story, and I was awarded second place for that year.
Wow, that's pretty special.
So I've got that on my wall. And then a few years later, 2013, I entered a literary contest, and I won first place at the Art Affair Literature Award and it was for a story. There's two things that I always was passionate about: is slavery during the Civil War, before and after and during, and the Holocaust.
Right.
Those two things just
overpowering.
Yeah, they just drive me crazy. The Third Reich and slavery, all those things. So I had these ideas about a slavery story, and I sent it into Art Affair, and I won first place. And I said, gee, if I could do that, what if I made it a book? So I stretched it out,
right.
and I made it a book, and it just sat there for a while, and then all of a sudden it started to sell. And my sweet wife, of all things, she goes, "Who's buying this?"
And what's the name of the book?
That was Pappy Moses' Peanut Plantation.
Okay. Pappy Moses
Peanut Plantation.
And where can they get that book?
All right, all my books. All right, now, if you want to read my books on ebooks, go to Amazon, type in my name, Michael Edwin, just the letter Q, and just tune it, and all my books will come up, and you could buy them ebook. But if you want to buy paperback,
Something's got you hold in your hand that
something
has
you hold in your hand,
made from wood. Right?
made from wood. You remember those things? If you want those, of course, you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it at Barnes and Noble. You can buy it any place you want to go. If you want to save some money, go to my publisher, get it direct, and that's Advantage Books. And their site is www.advbookstore.com. That's advbookstore.com.
And Barbarian's posting that right now in the comments.
And you can get my books on paperback.
And look for Michael Edwin Q.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just they'll have a little store, and you'll see, and you can get my books pretty much half price compared to stores. But if you're an ebook reader,
which is probably pretty big ebooks for right now. Everything's going on your phone and social media aspects of like that. So either way, we want you to get the books because the writing is fantastic.
Thank you.
And you've written, how many books are available?
15.
15.
Oh, no, on paperback only about 9.
But you've got 15 books available through
ebooks,
ebooks?
on Amazon, and about 8 of them are on paperback, which you can get from ADV Bookstore.
And which one was your bestseller?
My bestseller is a thing called "But Not Have Love."
But Not Have Love.
And in October of last year, it just started selling like crazy. And then all of a sudden, I got this medallion from Amazon saying, "You're a bestseller. You're #1 in that genre." And it lasted about 2-3 weeks.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and ever since then.
And what was that book again?
But Not Have Love.
But Not Have Love.
And my other one that's selling very good is Born a Colored Girl.
Okay.
I know that throws you off, doesn't it? No, I was doing some study on some things, and I was looking up on Madam C. Walker. Madam C. Walker was a famous black woman who, right after the Civil War, became a millionaire on hair products. And I said, gee, how interesting is that? That's really interesting. And I realized entrepreneurs, black women, right after the Civil War there was a lot of them. And they all had great stories, but most of it was hard work.
Right.
But each one of them had something special. So I actually put the stories together to make one woman.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's a story. It's a story about a woman who is separated from her children during slavery days at an auction. All her children are sold to different parts, and she becomes very wealthy, and she tries to track them down.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. So y'all need to go and check out on the ebooks at Amazon for Michael Edwin Q, or you can go. What was the publisher's?
ADV Bookstore. ADBookstore.com.
Okay.
And I also wrote, of course, Twilight Zone for Christians is available on paperback through my publisher or
even audio.
And that's on audio. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now let me stop you right here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play this little bit of thing right here. It's like just 15 seconds, but here's a good example right here. If it works, bear with me.
Audio Forever and Advantage Books presents Twilight Zone for Christians. If you like classic radio dramas from the past,
who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
then you'll love Twilight Zone for Christians. 36 audio dramas. A flying saucer soared across the sky above New York City. It looked just like one of those flying saucers in a B movie, only without the strings attached. Each story with a biblical twist. Who are you? Issue asked as they walked on. My name is Moses, and these are mine. To get a taste of these 15-minute dramas, go to tzcaudio.com. That's Twilight Zone for Christians at tzcaudio.com.
Now, how about that, folks?
That's pretty wild. I know. We had a fun time putting it together. Let me explain how that came about.
So these different, now there's 30, you said?
36.
36 of these short stories that they can get in book.
You can get the book,
you can get it audio,
ebook, or you can get it audio.
All 3 ways, right?
No, even 4 ways, because you can buy the whole book.
You can supersize it too if you like.
Either you can buy the book as whole,
with all the stories together.
With all the stories together.
Okay.
Or you could buy one story at a time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And that you could do that at my publisher's ADV bookstore. How that came about is last year I was in Nashville at the NRB convention doing a book signing, and a fellow named Michael Lederer lives right here in Louisville, and he came up to my publisher and he says, I do a Christian broadcast every week from my small studio. It's not set up for music, but it's set up for speaking.
Right.
And I'd love to do an audiobook. And he says, is any of the people you handle? And he says, well, one of my guys is signing autographs right now, and I'll introduce you. And he came over and he says, this is Michael Lederer. He wants to do an audiobook. Would you like to do that? I said, yeah, we should talk. Where do you live? And he goes, Louisville.
We're neighbors.
I said, we're neighbors.
We might be able to get along.
I said, this is going to be easy. So we did Twilight Zone for Christians, which is, like you said, available with Michael Lederer. And
did he do some of the audio?
He did. He does all the audio. I did the speaking.
You did the actual speaking, but he recorded.
No, I also did the directions.
Okay.
He's got a great mind for sound, and then he gets lost on pages.
Oh boy! I hope he's not listening.
No, I don't care. He understands, because now what has happened is we've actually made a partnership. We had such a good time. It came out so well. We started doing other people's books.
Oh,
so we started a company called Audio Forever, and you can go listen to some of these things for free at Audio Forever. That's just spelled out. It's one word, audioforever.com. And Michael Lederer and I have started this company. So if you've got a book, you want to put it out there on audio, that's what we do. And we're also working on the next book. It should be out of mine. That should be out within a month.
What's that called?
That's Born a Colored Girl.
Okay.
And the neat part about this book, it's not just a reading. There are 8 readers on this book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because each one's a different, the mother is, her parts are.
So you're trying to give a little bit of personality, or
like a radio drama.
Right. That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that was good. That was going to be, we're so pleased and so proud. So go on the website, Audio Forever, and you can listen to a couple of minutes of that for free, and maybe even start buying some copies in advance, because I think it's just going to be great. And again, if you've got a book out there,
So now these audios, they're only where are they going to be purchased through?
Again, they're getting put on Amazon like everything else.
The audio,
but the cheapest way to go is through my publisher.
Okay,
because the overhead isn't there. I mean, I hate to bite the hand that feeds me. But as soon as Amazon,
I do that every day.
Amazon, as soon as you give them something, they double the price. So if you go to my publisher, you can get the audio.
But the convenience too is also kind of easy if people have Prime or whatever else. Get that. But so the publisher's website again.
Okay. The publisher is advbookstore.com, and the audio. He'll handle the audio as well, but the audio company is audioforever.com, and that's Michael Lederer and myself.
Yeah, and they're both on our Facebook.
And that's here in North Texas, actually in the North Dallas, actually towns in north of Dallas a little bit. And man, what an honor to have you on the show today, and your lovely wife, Constance.
Hey, you got it right.
And I didn't have to use that C word.
Whoa! Never mind.
Well,
let's rephrase that.
Friendly content every day of the week.
You just jumped on the show now. She's got a friend that calls her C.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to clear that up.
And to
we were calling her that word,
But
word.
To all fairness, to her grandchild and my grandchild, she's known as Granny C.
Well, see, it's in
because
there, isn't
Granny
it?
Constance is too long for your
Yeah,
kid.
that's true.
You know, so it's Granny C and hi Max, Corrine, Josh, all the other good stuff.
And what they call you, Papa Q?
Papa Michael. I don't know how. Just
I think
because the
Q-
other one is.
You need to change
I
that.
know. You got to train
Papa
these
Q,
kids.
baby.
Papa Q. I know.
Could be kind of like they'd probably end up saying a barbecue.
Right. But if anybody needs to get in touch with me or wants to have a hard time or whatever, just need any advice, any help, or just want to say hi, you can go to michaeledwinq.com. Of course, it's real simple.
Michael Edwin Q. That's Michael Michael Edwin EDWIN, and then the letter Q.com. Or you can follow him on Facebook.
Woo.
By sending him a friend request at the same name,
Michael Edwin Q.
And then you can maybe get in touch with him if you've got questions or ideas, or maybe you have a book that you'd like to get recorded audio wise. These guys can help you, and they're in it, and they're in it for the long haul, because now he's up to his ears and elbows now with all this writing and his books and being a bestseller and doing this audio stuff. It's their business, and he could really help if you need some help with that. So do that. Hey, thanks for joining us on the show.
No problem.
Today.
It's michaeledwinq.com. The Q stands for Walter.
Yes, I know that. I know what it says, but it would take me about a week to get it out. Name.
No, it's just Michael Edwin Q.
That's it. That's all they need to know. I don't even want to. I don't even want you to either text me or IM me or where to go. Like, how do you spell that last name? Well, it's Q.
It's just Q.
The letter Q. Michael Edwin Q. And what a talent! You want to try some of these books out. Try the audio parts out. These short stories, the Twilight Zone for Christians. What a great idea!
And I have another one that came out last year that's doing fairly well. It's Christian book. It's Weekend with Jesus.
Hey,
what if?
Well, we could all use that.
Well, no, it's really ridiculous because Jesus is always there.
Correct.
Right, but what if he physically showed up at your door and said, "Hey, I'm here for the weekend"?
I'd tell him to get a haircut before we went out. Before we go to dinner.
Now you sound like your mother.
No,
you sound like. Does he do this to you all the time? Does he?
My father is a man of many traits.
Don't give him any. Don't ask him any questions about me, please.
Give him coffee. He'll tell you the truth.
I don't want to hear it.
Little did you know, I've been reading from a script this whole time, and the script tells me that I must say, my father is a wonderful, wonderful man with many, many traits.
Hey, you forgot one of the minis.
Oh, many traits, and these follow as
pay him for this.
Kind.
No, he does it for free.
Oh no, I've been paying for it.
Oh.
For the last 15
years.
This is
child slavery. Okay, the only thing you pay for is my food.
Oh boy, listen, it's too bad we're running out of time.
Yeah, let's play that violin and get some cheese in here for that pity story.
Oh, there we are. Somebody's
hello. Is anybody there calling us and telling us it's time to go?
They're telling us hey, it's time to get off the air.
Get off.
They go, Graham, shut up before you don't get paid today.
That's somebody calling saying you need to keep it.
I'm getting a stiff neck from this.
Yeah,
I know.
It's like being in tennis match.
Well, see, I can watch you on the screen because I got Facebook here. I want to thank all of our Facebook people. Mom, Wesley, we love you. Carolyn Holstetter, thank you for listening.
I'm getting a stiff neck from just this
Wait,
show.
Can you say Hulk Stetler? say Hank.
My pain is lower.
The Mafia. The Omnish Mafia.
The one you're setting on?
I don't want to get into it.
But in all reality, my father's a very great man, and this is
he really is buttering you up.
No, this is part of his personality. I do love him very much, and he doesn't abuse me. Believe it or not.
You know that amount stopped at $25, right?
Yeah. Why don't you go wait out in the car
with the windows rolled up and no keys?
No keys. Yeah.
Oh boy, he might find his way out. That's
the problem.
We love you,
Snake
Graham.
escape no matter what. Come on.
We love each and every one of you. Barbara Ann Purple Haze, thanks for running Facebook and being a co-host on the show.
Great job.
Graham, Knox, Mira, Bo,
I
Carver.
want my $25.
You'll get it.
And I want to say sorry to Facebook. We did get cut off and I had to redo our video.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. We just all of a sudden disappeared. So we had to re-up us, and I do apologize to Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so we're 2 parts today. Go back and watch the first part. Those of you watching the second part.
Okay. 2 parts to the show today, and that's
Yeah.
fine. They'll do it.
That's how special you are, Michael. Michael, you get 2 parts today
2 parts,
instead of 1.
Yeah, disappeared and woke up in witness protection plan.
But you can go and see the 1 part in its entirety on youtube.com.
Yes, and thank
and
you for
then
listening on YouTube.
search
YouTubers.
Bo Carver Show. YouTubers.
Hey, YouTubers.
Thank you for tuning in today. And our guest today was Michael Edwin Q, best-selling author of all kinds of great stuff. I mean, most of your books are also morally entwined, right? Would you say?
Yeah. First of all, they're clean.
Right.
They're clean. I mean,
there's no obscene gestures or anything.
In fact,
like that.
I just received a great honor last week. I got a letter from the state of Georgia, and they put my books in their libraries. So I'm in the Georgia libraries all over, and I'm also got a small piece in Harvard.
Wow,
as well. So
that's fantastic, man. It's nice to know people that have done something for themselves. I can't seem to get there, but
you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
I'm so happy to know somebody that has.
Look what you made.
Oh boy, you had to bring that up, did you?
I'm sorry.
Why you gotta mention all of his mistakes? You gotta boost his ego.
There goes your lunch.
There goes.
No, but he really has. You've made a name for yourself. And that
he has.
Very respectable.
Thank you.
And I plan on picking up at least one of your books, and if I enjoy it, I will pick up all of them.
So he's beginning to start to read now.
I learned English just last week.
It's only taken him to be a sophomore in high school, but he's getting there. We're proud of him.
Yeah.
And so you too also go to michaeledwinq.com, find out all about him. You can find about a lot of the details about him, but then order his books and give them the places they can go again.
Okay. Yeah, of course, you can get anything you want on Amazon or any of the bookstores. But if you're wanting to buy them at a better price, my publisher is Advantage Books, but that's advbookstore.com. And if you're looking for audio, to do audio, my company and Michael Lederer, we do it at audioforever.com.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll have you back.
I hope so.
We'll get you back on the show again, especially when that book comes out.
I've got 2 books coming out in September and February. So
when those 2 come out in September, we'll have you back. We'll talk about those books. And thank you for being on the show today. And thank you, Graham. Thank you, Barbara Ann.
Constance,
thank you for being with us today and putting up with the show.
And don't forget to go to eventbrite.com and get your wrestling tickets for July 10th.
Yeah, 27th.
That's what I said, July 27th.
You said the 10th, I think, but that's all right. My hearing's getting
I heard
selective
18th,
hearing.
So obviously,
so till next Sunday, have a great week.
We love you. So hug a veteran.
Okay, so what else waiting
Hug a veteran.
If I say it, I get in trouble. But like Barbara Ann said, hug a veteran. Be kind.
Don't leave your darn kids in the car.
Thank you.
Or your dogs.
That's
people.
exactly what I was going to
too.
say. Do not leave your kids in the car, or I'll come look for you. And have a blessed week. Till next Sunday, we'll see you then here on the Wheels of Justice. Have a great day.
God bless.
Done.